All right, David, on the ticket text, we got a loaded football show after this. We wanted to get the basketball out of the way. Michigan in late game situations is a clown car. Falls on your head coach. And I don't know if the dry erase board doesn't work, if the marker's broken, or if this dude just can't come up with anything. But Michigan at the end of games in his tenure has been awful. And look, do what you like, but be careful here. You're the fan base who has said COVID and the COVID year results weren't real, a.k.a. Michigan State didn't beat you. Okay, then your faux Big Ten title in the COVID year wasn't real. So what's Juwan? Guys, I think it's okay to ask questions. I have not used the F word. I happen to be with Hatchet on this. I think next year is show or go for him. If this team is borderline NIT or some 8 seed in the NCAA tournament and out, that's not what is acceptable. I remind you, Michigan basketball under John Beilein played for 2 national championships in a 10-year span. 2. Okay? Just like when I tell you at Michigan State, it's not acceptable to make the tournament. It's not acceptable to win a game. No, your job is to make the Final Four. Your job is to win the Big Ten, put banners up. So I just feel like it's okay to question it. I question my own coach. And Tom Izzo's got more coaching acumen in his small toe than Juwan's got in his whole body. And I'm willing to call my guy out. So I just want to know where you're at. But then again, I'll tell you where you're at. You're at where Michigan basketball fans are always at. You're a bunch of front-running garbage. Your heads are so far up your ass, you never want to talk about your basketball team until you're having a good year. That's the only time you guys ever rear your ugly asses out from the cave. So I know where you're at. Screw it.
No, I was going to say it's the level of care.
It's a joke.
It's, you know what?
It's like we were talking to Powers about. It's like Georgia.
Football.
Why do you not care about hoops?
Because you got football. You're back-to-back playoff. You're waiting on the spring game. You're in spring practice right now.
That's great.
You know how much? Here's how much you care about that. You know when your spring game is going to be? Right smack in the middle of the Final Four. Like they already knew. We're not going to the Final Four. Michigan spring game will be on April 1st. Final Four is going on that same weekend.
The NIT is a Final Four. David, what do you have on ticket text? That would be an insult if people knew hoops, but none of you do, so it doesn't matter. David, go ahead.
I threw the flag on that one.
David, you know what I'm saying. This is Michigan and Michigan State. It's tournament time. We're not talking in January. We're not doing deep dives. It's championship week. Michigan had 2 opportunities, games that they had won this week. I think their coach cost them. Not winning a close game costs you. He's 1-12 in one-score games. He's wasting NBA talent. If you can't talk about that to open a show at 2 o'clock, forget it. Because I'm not doing what's your favorite pickle. We'll do the football. But I just think it's hilarious. Oh, when Michigan's good, these phone lines are all here, and everyone's got their crank ready to roll to talk to King Sparty. Oh, now you can't find my number. Okay, got it. I see how that rolls. COVID year, please. You were storming the gates. Everybody's pants were down.
Yeah, Rico, did you know that they can beat Gonzaga?
We don't get those phone calls anymore.
Yeah, those people must have passed away. David, go ahead.
I've been saying fire Juwan all season. This team is too talented to lose 12 games by 4 points or less. They blow double-digit leads regularly, can't execute late games. #fire Juwan.
The worst part is they can still get in. And because Hunter Dickinson is a mismatch in the way that Zach Edey is, not to that level, but he's a mismatch, they could do some stuff. I'm talking overall, above view. I mean, they're going to lose 30 games in 2 seasons. That's ridiculous with NBA players.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, you got 2 NBA players and you got a really, really good college player, and the game is going to come back to haunt them. It's still going to be the Central Michigan game, December 29th.
Central Michigan's horrible.
Right. And you had them beat. You had a lead with, I think, 10 seconds to go. And you somehow ended up losing by 2.
Oh, you mean to tell me they blew a game?
At home.
David, go ahead.
Michigan is getting what it deserves. Beilein was winning titles. Well, he wasn't winning Big Ten. but they still treated him like an unwanted stepchild compared to Harbaugh, who hadn't done anything at that point. That is from Ryan.
I mean, look, I always will compare whoever you hire to Beeline because I think he's the best basketball coach you ever had.
I mean, he was able to squeeze talent from really he recruited to his own style. I'm not going to call him nobodies, but he knew what he wanted, and he knew how to get the maximum out of those players.
He was there, D'Antonio.
Yeah.
It was a system. It was development. It was consistency. And look, man, he had him in position to win 2 national championships. I know they didn't get it done, but damn it, they were there.
Yeah.
Like that's the standard to me.
They beat Purdue, and they're in. That will be the signature win. Probably gets them to the 11th seed Dayton game, but I don't think it will happen.
See, I don't think just beating Purdue will get you in. In order to beat Purdue to get in, everything has to work in your favor. Every St. Mary's Gonzaga has to win the West Coast Conference. Like every conference champion, regular season champion, must win their conference, and then you get that play-in game.
Hey, look,
and then you also got to watch out for Penn State and Rutgers in Wisconsin in your own conference.
I think it's very similar. You know, Juwan, Mel Tucker, like next year's just super important. I need to see Michigan State football look completely different. I need Michigan basketball to look completely different. You know, you can't have another year where you're, 14, 15 loss. Like, what are we doing? It's really similar, but they both have, obviously. You got to give the guy another year, but I don't think it's wrong to say the hot seat should be a discussion.
See, I'm always just questioning because of the lack of recruiting that's going on. I'm like, was he planning on leaving with Jet?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because Michigan basketball is still a great brand.
You still got to block him. You still should be able to walk into a living room and say, hey, you want to come play here?
No top 75 players. How's that possible?
You know, you're able to call some of your NBA buddies and actually help you recruit these guys and be like, hey, Dwayne, could you call this guy and let him know, he wants to come play for me?
Well, hell, it's a good thing he had a kid who happened to be talented, or what was this class?
It would have been Kobe Buffkin.
Go to Donald, 97.1. What's up, Donnie? How are you, buddy?
Hey, guys, you guys are spot on. And about John Beilein, he took players like Duncan Robinson, who nobody else wanted. He took Tim Hardaway, who was a 3-star. He took Trey Burke out of Columbus because Ohio State didn't want him.
Yep.
He made those guys really good players. Beilein built those guys into pro players, and he developed them. I don't see that with Juwan Howard. I'm not seeing the development that you want to see in players that are in college basketball. And I know college basketball is different today than it was, 10 years ago with guys leaving the NBA, the transfer portal. But still, something's missing, and Juwan Howard's not providing it yet.
So what do you make of it here? Because when we talk about it, is it wrong to say, okay, well, then he should be on the hot seat next year? Is that unfair?
I agree with you. No, that's not unfair. Right now, probably not this year. But again, let's see what happens, who goes pro that's on this team. Maybe Buffkin decides he's going to go pro. Maybe his son decides to go pro. And I think Dickinson can leave, right? He could come back next year too.
Sure. Guys are basically in college now for a decade if they want. I think Joey Hauser could come back for year 12.
He could. For year 6.
Yeah, so Dickinson, if they don't come back, all of a sudden you have the 3 best players on his team are gone. He doesn't have a huge recruiting class, so we're going to see another 17 and 13 season next year. And now you can start throwing that as what you call the F word around.
Yeah, that's all. I just –
You're not wrong.
Donald, it's crazy to me because, look, I say it and I'm envious to a point is that it's been a long time since MSU's had real NBA talent. And that's why I've criticized Tom. Look, there are nights MSU looks okay this year. They get hot. They can hit threes. They actually guard the 3 really well. But, like, overall, they're a flawed team. They can't rebound it. They struggle to guard. Their bigs are horrible, yada, yada, yada. We don't have NBA players. I watch Michigan, and even though I don't like a lot of things about Hunter, as a basketball player in college, that's a guy that by himself should have you at 20 wins. Now, when I put an NBA guard and an NBA wing around him, how do you explain making the NIT?
Well, because they don't always run the offense through Hunter. There's times where, Mike, they've gone to halftime and Hunter has 2 points because it's all the jump shots. It's Jet trying to take people off the dribble, and you have to be consistent. You have to say, like Purdue, win or lose, Zach Edey will touch the ball first, and then he will decide who eats.
That game was crazy yesterday, by the way.
It was.
That was fun. I mean, it's March. You got to watch some college hoops. We'll go to Bruce. He'll get the final word on the deal, and we'll get it moving. Brucey, what's going on, buddy?
Hello. Michigan fan, and yes, the season has been very disappointing. It's like, really? Come on, finish a game. I didn't know it was 1-12. You guys said that statistic. That's terrible. You also said 3 NBA players. Who are the 3? Maybe Dickinson.
Well, it's Bufkin.
He's not going to start anywhere.
It's Jet Howard, and I don't consider Dickinson an NBA player this year, but he's an All-American college player.
I hope he comes back, and he needs to get a right-handed hook to go hit the left-handed hook. But anyway, so yeah, it's been very frustrating. And I didn't know the recruiting class was rated that low for next year, if I heard you guys correctly.
Oh, you heard it correctly.
So, yeah, I don't know how to fix it other than get better players and start winning some And you know what? They rely too much on the long jump shot. That's been, I think, one of Michigan's weaknesses forever. But back when, they had guys that could hit it. Now these guys are throwing up bricks. If you hit them, great. If not, well, you're not. And you lose, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And again, the Hunter Dickinson thing, like I'm not trying to be rude, but dude, he's going to be 23 next year. He is who he is. There are guys in the NBA who will be entering the last year of their rookie contract at age 23. Just to put it in perspective.
I mean, but the NIL provides it's perfect because
no, I know, but I'm saying it's who he is.
Right.
Like, don't expect this wild development.
No, but it's still when Michigan runs that offense through him, he gets double teamed, he kicks it out, he finds the open man. But then there are times where there's 3 different Michigan offenses. There's the Jet offense, there's the Kobe offense, and then there's the Hunter offense. But for some reason, they don't know how to marry all 3 together.
Well, because maybe their coach isn't very good.